Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Also, below this video, you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Eli, 10th Man, the Adam Meakin, Neil and a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Morning.
Afternoon.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon formerly known as Earth curve?
You can need the R for that. There's no evidence.
Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety then?
Hello, guys.
Hey, Owen.
Axial rotation, you say?
Axial.
Oh, dear. I don't think the problem is even to determine whether there is axial rotation or not. I think the main problem we are facing is the inability for a whole category of people to deal with the natural consequences of it either spinning or not spinning, because they seem to like to mix up those consequences constantly. Keep us distracted with that.
I just wonder, is there any sensory input phenomena that we observe that would maybe suggest that would warrant us to investigate the fact that the Earth's moving even though we don't experience it? Well, why would we look into that? What would make us want to bother to look into that when all our experience points to the opposite?
Well, I can tell you why we shouldn't.
I can answer that.
Oh, well, let me try and answer why we wouldn't look for it. So, when they're describing the effect we should see to demonstrate Earth as a rotating sphere, that effect would be coriolis deflection. And the effect that is observed, albeit a not actual deflection, it's still an observed deflection. And that relies on the example having you on a non-inertial turning reference frame. That would be to say that you're not noticing the effect of the reference frame turning, you're noticing the effect of the thing in the inertial reference frame looking like it's coming towards you. Oh no, it's come towards me. Oh no, it's hit you in the face. Why? Well, because you're on a roundabout under a tree with a branch hanging over it. Well, the effect that's described is the effect of the branch coming towards you, coming to get you. That's what you're observing. And to describe it that way, the reference frame that is turning is non-inertial. So no inertia to take into account with the example, therefore why detail it in terms of what we should be feeling, Adam? No, non-inertial, right?
Well, yeah, but comes back to the point of we're only looking for it because we think we should be seeing it, and then we'll look for reasons why we don't see it. But what's the reason? As far as I can see, the only reason we should be looking for it is because we have this presupposition or belief that we're on a ball that's spinning. No other reason to investigate that. If we didn't have that claim, we wouldn't be investigating spinning Earth we're on, because we don't have this coriolis. We don't experience this coriolis effect. So why would we investigate something to then make an excuse as to why you don't feel it? It just seems you need the pre-belief to put all of this inquiry in.
Arwen, did you want to go over the doublespeak contradictions or not? I thought that was what I was pausing for.
Sorry, I just went to the toilet. So I really
That's
needed
just
to
not
go.
what we need to know. Did you want to address the doublespeak? The way this started off, Arwen, just let me lead you back in, is that you're pointing out that they will describe the effects we should see, only to later describe why we will not see the effects they said we will see.
Right. It's crazy. But I've always thought why they think it's spinning in the first place, why that on an intuitive level enters their mind, is because of the stars rotating around us, seemingly doing so. And that's always been the primary suggestion, because in the physical world, there is just no sign whatsoever there is any form of rotation, like of the Earth. It's just not there. But then, yeah, they just spend all their time mixing it up. And then one time, oh, things are deviating. But with others, no, it doesn't deviate. And that's okay with them. It's okay with them that it contradicts, that it doesn't make any sense, because then they can keep it kind of vague in their mind, and they can still have their rotation and Earth being stationary at the same time. That's what they like.
Well, I
Sounds
look at the
painful.
whole thing as it's null and void due to the factor that they can't manipulate the very thing they say is moving.
No. Wrong.
Huh.
Who's claiming this is science? Describing the Coriolis deflection isn't a claim of science on their side. You've got to be careful. Just because they can't vary and manipulate an independent variable. Who said this was science? It's a Coriolis effect. That's not science. And I don't hear anybody saying
No, I'm talking
it
about
is.
the Earth's rotation
Yeah,
in their paradigm.
yeah.
So it's begging the question either just the sky or the Earth. So it's null and void.
Let me tell you a story of a guy called Spurs Chemo. And he heard this wonderful, wonderful example about how science just basically just debunked everything. Amazing, right? All you had to do is ask them for their independent and dependent variable and establish whether or not they can vary the independent variable, right? So you'd go around, Spurs Chemo, sorry to make this example, man, but it was you that did it. I know you don't now. You're far, far beyond this. So don't give Spurs crap for something that he did like 3 years ago. But he started asking people for their independent variable when they made an example, not realising that, yes, it's a wonderful chainsaw, unless you're attacking plumbing, and then it's useless, right? So if they haven't made a claim of science in the first instance, they're not claiming to have the presumed cause validated by systematic experimentation. In this case, the cause being turning Earth, because we're not claiming science, we're claiming that we'll see a deflection at 15 degrees an hour in the stars or in aeroplanes or hot air balloons. Whatever they say will give them deflection. Doesn't matter if it's gyros or pendulums or, I don't know, whatever they claim. That's the effect, but that isn't a scientific claim. Now, somebody could turn it into that and say it's science, but I don't recall anybody doing it. Therefore, you can't say, well, you can't vary your independent variable of Earth turn. It's like, who said it needed to be varied? Who's saying that? You follow me, Don?
Yep.
Yeah, I follow you, but it's the fact when they make such claim as in Coriolis deflection is caused by the Earth's rotation. Oh, that's begging the question.
I agree. But your initial gambit was to say that they can't vary it.
No, they
But a
can't
would
stop
statement.
in their paradigm. They can't stop or manipulate the Earth's rotation to see if that's what caused the actual effect they say is an effect or a force.
Agreed. But unless somebody's postulated this as a cause and effect relationship validatable with science, it's unreasonable to charge your opponent with that as a debunk. You can't vary the Earth turning, therefore it's not turning. That's a fallacy in and of itself.
You've
But
got
they
him with the chainsaw.
they don't even have a
haven't you,
phenomenon.
Hold on,
as
I've got Owen
Nathan
and
said.
Adam. Who wants to go?
Oh, no, and you first.
Sorry, but the whole thing is they don't even have a phenomenon. They only have a scenario. Like, if the Earth was a ball and spinning, yeah, there would be Coriolis effect.
not
yeah,
true
yeah,
either.
that's nice. But
That's
there
not true.
isn't actually.
There is star movement. There you go. There's a phenomena.
So what are stars, you know?
I'm not saying you can't formulate this into a scientific claim. Now, I've heard Ephos effect claimed as being science, and you can rip that to shreds based on its lack of independent variable, dependent variable, formulated null, all of those things. But as we discuss this, right, as we discuss Coriolis effect, the effect has an established cause. It's only going to be caused by rotating non-inertial reference frames. That is the cause of this effect. Now, the induction or inducing that effect is just as simple as sitting on something that rotates and looking at something that isn't attached to the roundabout, or whatever it is, Lazy Susan if you like, that you're sitting on that's spinning. Yeah, well, that's a cause and effect relationship that doesn't need any validation. You know what the cause is. The spinning causes it. You're just describing that. But it doesn't require science. Now, to just assert that that cause and effect relationship, i.e. cause, non-inertial spinning reference frame, effect, deviation observed in an inertial reference frame, to assert that that is actually occurring on Earth, you need to actually see the effect. Not say, well, can you vary Earth turn? Just, okay, if that's an effect I'm going to see because we're turning, let's see the effect happen then. And it doesn't. So it's like, yeah, that's fine. The cause and effect relationship established as Coriolis deflection is real. No one's going to deny that there is Coriolis effect, that that thing exists, that you can induce it on a roundabout. It's very simple to induce Coriolis effect. Just spin on something, looking at something that isn't with you spinning. Simple. There's Coriolis effect, observed from your rotating platform. So that isn't in contention. But as soon as you transpose that onto a turning Earth, the effect of the branch coming towards you as you turn beneath the tree in my example earlier, that would happen on Earth. Hot air balloon goes up, and if you're turning towards it on a turning Earth, suddenly you're turning towards the hot air balloon. It's coming towards you when it just goes up into the air. Well, that doesn't happen. You don't find yourself rotating underneath and past hot air balloons that have just took off. You don't find yourself rotating underneath and then past drones that you launch. That never happens. If it did, it would shorten flight times. So the effect they're describing is a real effect. It just doesn't apply to Earth because we don't see the effect. Roll on the fundies like Arwin was describing, telling us how we shouldn't expect to see the effect, the very effect they're claiming is supposed to be proving Earth spins in the first place. Not science,
That's
though.
right.
There's no science in my pulling apart or their claiming of Coriolis. That isn't a scientific claim.
Right. It is compounded by the universal problem that they on purpose misunderstand what science is. They think science can be anything and it isn't. So that's on top of it.
But Neil deGrasse Tyson says you can't see the effect and uses a football. And then the anti-flat earthers say you can't see it, but it's there. So the fight is within there, not what we're talking about, because it's obvious that the way is it Don, the guy who was talking? He was saying it's either the Earth turning or the sky turning. Okay, well that's simple enough. Okay, but you know what? In celestial navigation, they want you to have the Earth stationary and say the sky is turning. Why would they do that?
Because it is stationary, and we'd see Coriolis effect induced in anything in the inertial reference frame if it was turning beneath things in an inertial reference frame as a non-inertial turning reference frame, exactly as you see them on a roundabout, with things not attached to your roundabout as you spin. That would occur on Earth. It doesn't. Now, they claim it does. Here's how the flowchart breaks down. Claim. Globe. Claim. Earth is rotating underneath as a non-inertial turning reference frame to cause drift. Exampled by gyroscopes, pendulums, sniper's rifles, and Neil deGrasse Tyson's football example. They are all examples of Earth turning underneath stuff. That's the globe claim. So step one, what's the claim? Globe claims Earth turns underneath, 15 degrees an hour deflection will be the result. That's the globe claim. Next, flat Earth refutation of that claim. We don't see the effect. That's not happening. Neil deGrasse Tyson might say the ball deflected through the goal 1/4 of an inch because of the Earth rotation. Well, that claim doesn't pad out as soon as you look at anything that's in the air for a significant period, like a hot air balloon or a drone or an aeroplane. Now, if you go to citations from the globe to double check what they're claiming, they'll make it clear that Earth is claimed to rotate underneath aeroplanes at a slower rate, i.e. Earth's turning beneath them exactly as the claim is laid out. So step one, globe claims Earth turns underneath. Step two, flat Earth refutes that claim by pointing out Earth's not turning underneath jack. Step three, anti-flat Earth refutation of the flat Earth debunking of the globe claim. So anti-flat Earth, step 3, we're not supposed to see drift. We wouldn't expect Earth to turn under a hot air balloon. So step 1, globe claims Earth turns under a hot air balloon. Step 2, flat earther points out Earth is not turning under hot air balloons. Step 3, anti-flat earther says Earth shouldn't be turning underneath hot air balloons. Did you want to present something, Adam?
If you don't mind, just we're talking about trying to see a phenomenon of this, which is one object leaving one reference frame, going into the other. This little clip's quite a good example of things we should experience if we're going to be investigating these things in supposedly happen in real life to then go and maybe bring a chainsaw out and science it. So this gent here with the beard, he's about to leave the reference frame of the boat, which is moving, rotating away from the stationary point of the when he grabs onto the bridge. And you'll just see from the perspective of the people that suddenly there appears to be this man flying at them and just wipes them all out. So I'll just press play and you'll... Oh. Why is it doing that? It's probably not done that.
Oh dear.
Crashed.
Wonderful. Slick.
Hey,
Slick.
good timing, that. Give me a
Flat Earth debate. This is slick showmanship right here.
Don't know why.
Well, if I may,
I would.
Please.
if I may, it's more of a what is question, like, you know, second law of thermodynamics or entropy. It's a what is than more of a scientific hypothesis.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Right.
What
That
is
means
the
basically you have to
Let me just formulate it for him.
observe-
What is the cause of the deflection that we observe in the inertial reference frame? Obviously begging the question that we have a non-inertial reference frame just by my language. But what's the cause of that effect? Well, obviously it's Earth turning underneath. That's what the cause is. That's their claim. So go, okay. So you're saying the cause of the effect... We don't see the effect. That doesn't happen. Step 3, anti-flat earther. We wouldn't expect to see the effect. Quick shout out to... God, I'm going to butcher your name. Colby Bowman. Hope I've said that right. Probably not. You all have tough time with family/friends. Oh, do you all have a tough time with family/friends when talking about the globe lie? Some of my favourite people dismiss even my politics because I'm a crazy flat earther. That's a reasonable question. I'm going to put it to anybody who's in the panel, especially as Eli was trying to get in there. So Adam's got his functioning demo, which we'll get to in a second. Who wants to address... is it Colby? Hope I'm not saying your name wrong. Colby.
Yeah, okay. Well, to be honest, yes. I've been having a hard time since the beginning, since I got into this. When I first asked the community of my peers, hey, does something look fishy to you about the moon landings? And they were like, what are you, a flat earther? And I'm like, huh? And then I'm like, okay. Like 6 months later, I'm like, yeah, I think the earth is flat, by the way. And I got crucified. And then from then on, I'd say for a whole year, I decided, well, I'm going to get as knowledgeable as I can on the topic. And then I'll go back and I'll address things. And they despised me more. They just saw it as arrogance when I showed them information and showed them that they were wrong about the things that they thought. Because most of us just have our own belief about what the heliocentric model is. It's not until this topic I actually learned what it is they say and what I don't stand by. Because we just make it up until then. You know, and so showing that to people hasn't gotten any easier. As a matter of fact, yeah, these anti-flat earthers and these forums, they kind of made themselves in a way enemies. I mean, you can't. They almost expect a battle when you mention that you're a flat earther or whatever, however you label yourself. And it's a sad thing because I didn't come into wanting to know the truth. I didn't come into this expecting to fight my peers, you know. So
Hope that answers your question. Also, shout out to Ben White, who's joined as a hyena. Thank you very much indeed.
Can I
Adam,
add to that?
you can, but has Adam gone? Oh, I was going to move to Adam next, but yes, indeed, 10th. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've experienced what Eli's experienced, but I guess in retrospect, not at the time I was experiencing it, because at the time I was experiencing it, these were friends and colleagues that openly would listen to me on any subject. But now, well, not today, but a while ago, I realized that it's actually a test of how many people are parroting what they hear, not what they research. So if you got skin in the game, if you got money in something like an investment, you're going to want to know who else are the investors in the project, the character of the people who are handling the money, how soon the building is going to get built, and how soon are we going to flip it and make the profit. You're going to want to know every detail because you got money in the game. Well, when it comes to this subject, they got no money in the game. All they got is programming. And here we come and say, hey, did you think that moon landing was real? And all of a sudden, these people who would listen to you on any subject prior, all of a sudden think you're crazy. Now, what is that if not the best test in the world to find out who the zombies are, to allow other people to think for themselves? Flat Earth is the best test of everything, just to see if a person actually thinks for themselves. Because I've done the same thing with another group of people who say, you know what, that's an interesting thing you're saying. I've been seeing things on the internet about it. I haven't looked into it, but have you? Tell me what you found out. And all of a sudden I say, oh, a real human being. I can talk to this person, and every one of those people are flat earthers today because they're not under the drug. It's great. I love it.
thank you for sharing the optimistic side. I totally forgot about that. That's true too.
Yeah, the investment isn't necessarily a financial one either. I mean, you can directly relate it to a financial investment when you're talking about things like university. So obviously that costs money, but time in general is, in my opinion, as if not more valuable than the finances that you get in exchange for it. More often than not, it's devalued to a huge extent. But time is valuable, and this is something else I was talking about with my kid today. So we went to the library, and I was explaining library fines to her, and she immediately equated it to what she called it. We give a time out as a punishment, but they didn't call it that in her nursery. Time to think is the same as time out. In other words, time to think about what you've done wrong. And she equated that as the same as getting a financial penalty for not taking a book back. And I was like, well, it is the same, in many, many ways. Your time has a value, and you can exchange that time for finances depending on what you're doing with that time, and if it's useful for the person that wants to give you the money for you to use your time to maybe produce something. So I'm explaining all this to her. But at the same time, it's like when you talk to an anti-flat earther, they're heavily invested in heliocentrism. So therefore, it's out of the realms of their possibilities to relinquish the heavy investment that they've placed upon that particular rhetoric when you contradict it in any way. So they just reassert the rhetoric. I've learned this rhetoric. It's too valuable to just relinquish. I'll just repeat it. It was of a high financial... high time consequence to me. Therefore, I ascribe a huge value to it. And if you just refute it with a good argument, I can just repeat it again because it's so valuable. actually one of the reasons I wanted to be a YouTuber, because I valued my time and thought, well, if I invest my time wisely in producing videos, I'll have more time for myself. How wrong I was. You think being self-employed is going to give you more time, then you're absolutely idiotic. If you want to actually earn a living, you have no time. It's like zero. You know, I thought I was under the cosh when I was a rep flying all over the place, like time limitations. I had what I thought was no time. It's like, yeah, I did. I had loads of time by comparison. I wasn't waking up and immediately dealing with YouTube, which is what life is like. I'm smiling though, because I do love what I do. I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you to
Right.
all the people who support the channel. Really,
Oh,
really
there's a-
appreciate it.
There's a big advantage to doing that too, you know, to really doing your own project, doing your own channel, what you do, because you're the end responsible one for all the work you represent that is supposed to be also bring in some money. And because of that, you build more skill and you feel forced to even figure out new skills that you hadn't seen before just to be able to get by. While if you are employed in some typical working field or whatever, that you don't have that advantage. You're not going to be squeezed to develop unique personal new skills that might carry forth like your entire life, and you can even build upon that later, right? That development goes slower when you're just employed at some job. You might still develop yourself, but you won't be forced to, because you are effectively not as responsible for the entire process. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I was told something a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago, a little over 10 years ago, when I was working for this company. And they said, well, Eli, there are four quadrants. You can be an employee who has to exchange time for a wage. You can be an employer. You can be a business owner, or you can be an investor. And the investor leverages the most money for his time. And it's that's where the most freedom is. That's where I'm trying to go.
Fair enough. I see interesting things happening. I mentioned this yesterday about the Flat Earth People Finder and the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app version of the same thing, i.e. a friend finder, I think it's labelled. And suddenly, there's competition. And you think, that's what drives these things forward, right? I'm smiling from ear to ear, because I bet that both of them, I bet they hate each other. I don't need to go into it, but you know, competition does breed a higher quality product, and that's all that's happening right now. There's competition in the rank and file flat earthers to do a better job of bringing people together. You're like, man, isn't that amazing? Doesn't that bring a smile to all the people watching's faces? It certainly does me. Not that I want to see discord. You know, I don't want to see people falling out. That's not what I'm smiling about. I'm smiling about the fact that there's two products on the market, two apps that you can go out to press the flesh. Really, really important at the moment after COVID lockdowns. You know, it's a critical part of being a person, right? Pressing the flesh is an important thing. So the fact that there's two competing apps out there at the moment, both striving to get people interested, it's like, yeah, if the other one didn't exist, you might not be making this extra advert to try and promote people to your product, telling them about how you've polished it up a bit more recently. Yeah, wicked. So the quality and the standards are going up in Flat Earth. Couldn't be more pleased.
It worked. I mean, everyone has an entry point, and soon as I started hearing about this social aspect, I'm like, yeah, I'm sold. That's all I was waiting for. Now I bought the app.
Yeah, same here.
Shout out to Dave Weiss, and shout out to the other guy who's driving him, the competition.
Yeah, but well, Flat Earth, I'll just name the apps because that's the most important detail here. So you've got the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, and you've got the Flat Earth People Finder. So those are the two, I'm going to say it, competing apps, because they're competing for your business. They want you to go and join their group and download their app, right? One's free and one isn't. But off the back of it, right? So literally off the back of the the guy with the free app making a bit of a moany advert for Dave's app. I was like, I'm going to download these. So I coughed at the cash. I'm as tight as a duck's ass, I'm telling you. I am very, very tight. So don't get me wrong, Dave Weiss has been like, not nagging me, but he'll occasionally say, have you downloaded the app, or can you look at this on the app? I'm like, I'm not downloading that. It costs money. You're joking, right? You give me money. So, no, but eventually, like I say, off the back of somebody basically moaning about it, I was like, I'm going to download these.
I don't have to make an excuse because I don't have a phone with a computer on it, so...
Okay. What's your point?
That I'm not gonna download any apps.
Oh,
Even
okay.
if
Oh,
they're
sorry. I
good
see.
or
I thought
free.
you were
He's
being
letting us know that he's Grandparwin.
Grandpa win.
Thanks.
Grandpa win. I love it.
Boomer win.
He's got his flip phone. He's happy with that.
It's not even a flip phone. But it does have a color screen, man. Holy shit.
Do you clip it to your belt as well?
I don't even take my phone with me when I go out. Ever.
The
Unless
can
I have to
doesn't
like go on a train and be in reach of somebody, right? When you go to visit.
the can doesn't have long enough string, so it just works around the home.
What?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Arwin. I appreciate that's actually something, whether, I admit it or not, I don't know about anybody else. I strive to be that guy. I do love my Nathan in the morning and, these videos and all this, but honestly, when's the last time I left my phone home and took a book on the train? So.
You could do that. I don't even take a book. I just sit, look around at other people, look at what they're doing, how much they're focusing on their phone, what I feel they got in the back of their mind. I just start watching people.
Yep, that's right. Arwin's that guy on the train that sits there staring at you while you're just trying to look at your friend finder app.
But don't worry, I don't give scary stares. It's like if you notice me and I feel that you're nervous about it, I will look away. I'm not gonna glare at you like a psycho. Don't worry.
Okay, but let me just do a proper plug for Flat Earth People Finder and the Flat Earth Friend Finder apps, respectively. So check them out. Obviously, it's developed a bit of discussion as we've discussed it for the last couple of days. And I think it's very, very interesting, and I like both the apps. They've been very, very cool stuff. I'm really glad that people are out there doing this stuff. I know there's been people in the comments of both of them being critical of both of them as well, and I just think no need, right? Support these people. Don't chew the meat, spit out the bones. Don't support them being shits to each other if they are, right? I'm not saying they are, or who is, or if they are, but if they are, don't support that. Just support the apps and what they stand for and the principles of the apps. Because that's what their hard work is all about. If there's a bit of blood in the water, try to ignore it and focus on the fact that there's a beautiful white shark swimming around that you can jump on the back of and swim around. I don't know why I use that as an analogy, but that's what it came out as, because there was blood in the water in the example.
Well, it's an okay example because I got to picture the sharks with smiles on their faces and friendly, cushy fins rather than scaly, scratchy ones. So.
That's what I was picturing. Happy, friendly sharks. Anyway.
Any more housekeeping questions?
Yeah. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
It's over there. I can see it.
Yeah, with a bit of R, we could figure it out. But you would need R for that.
Until then, it's 3 AU away.
3 times the distance to a rainbow.
That's correct. Apparently so.
Here. Without you, we wouldn't have any new nonsense to focus on, would we, Arwen? It'd just be the dusty old heliocentric nonsense.
I guess so. Hey, but doing a boring job requires you to be self-entertaining. Anybody that's like worked 50 years or something as a cleaner or some other seemingly menial job, you have to be self-entertaining. You have to figure out how to keep going.
But what you
So-
do in your personal time is entirely your business, Arwen. Children listening.
What? No. What? No.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Well, if it's presupposed and not measured to and discovered, then apparently not.
Well, you're going to need half of that. Go on, someone say it so we can move on.
I was trying to think of a tool that started with R, but I couldn't think of one. Anyone else work with tools that can figure out some kind of digging tool that starts with an R?
Yeah, garden rake.
You're gonna need a rake for that.
You're going to need an R value
don't
for
know.
a molten iron core. We talked about Spurs chemo earlier, and I didn't really shout out a show, and I do find myself watching a show quite frequently. So the show, or the channel, is called Are You Smarter Than a Flat Earther? And Spurs chemo hangs around various different Discord servers, just ushering along the conversation as he does in his very special, unique way. Very entertaining to listen to. So check him out. He tends to title his videos Are You Smarter Than, and then the subject matter. So Are You Smarter Than Relative Density? Or something like that. You know, those are the sort of titles he puts to his videos. But check him out. So that's Spurs Chemo's channel. Are You Smarter Than a Flat Earther? And
Are you saying? Are you saying he's got one? Are you smarter than a rake?
a rake?
Yeah, Eli said rake, and then you went to Spurs chemo. So I thought you were tying the two together.
I think you're thinking a chainsaw, because we talked about him with a chainsaw in the analogy.
No, Eli just said rake.
No, I think he meant chainsaw.
Eli, speak up.
It could be anything.
Oh gosh.
So chainsaw then.
Let's just plow through to the next question. Come on.
Well, I'm going to do a quick shout out to a super chat first. So Ben White again, thank you very much for joining as a member and super chatting. So meteorologists have weighed rainbows and found out they're pretty light.
Yeah.
No way.
That is-
Wait, I didn't even mean to do that.
That's really clever.
Very clever.
I like
I
it.
love it. We like a good dad joke here on Flat Earth Debate. Any scientific evidence of gravity? Boom, boom.
Oh, scientific evidence, as in they determine the cause. No.
How about determining what it is first?
Yeah, how about showing an effect first? Right on, Arwen.
Did I tell you the story of the guy I'm doing work for? Or did you get any of it yesterday? Because I had bad reception. I was in Vermont. But I don't have any scientific evidence of gravity. But the guy I worked for started explaining it, that's why the water overflowed and drowned some people at elevators due to gravity. So I get into the whole thing with him. And I said, listen, bro, you're talking to a flat earther. So I was ready to go on my rant, and he starts telling me about flat earth. Starts telling me how the sun works and how the government's are lying to us. It's easy to keep sheep, thinking that there's nothing else out there. I was like, you're blowing my mind right now. Are you a flat earther? He said, I don't know if I'm a flat earther, but I just believe in reality. So that blew my mind.
Started by saying, I don't have any scientific evidence of gravity. And I thought you were going to go on to say, but if I did, it would be the best scientific evidence in the world. But he didn't. So I think.
Actually, he wants to come on your show.
And what?
Actually, he wants to come on your show as just a normal guy.
Well, fair enough. He's all are welcome. Links below, in case you didn't realise. I do say at the beginning of every single show.
Does that mean the rest of us who are on the show are not normal guys?
I mean, like a normal guy that has no dog in the fight, that just believes in reality. And he was dropping some stuff on me now. He was talking about how the sun makes a circuit, and he goes up in planes, and forever he said that the horizon is always flat. I said, then what the hell are you telling me about gravity and water for? Threw me off, but but this is what I'm saying. It's out there. It's out there more than we know it's out there.
Yeah, that's true, Neil. I've been saying that for a minute. I'm not the guy saying that flat Earth is growing anymore. People are coming into the places that I talk about, various things, and they're offering up the information that flat Earth is growing. And I already knew that when I saw Dave Weiss go on Killer Priest podcast, and like 4,000 comments, you keep scrolling and scrolling, and they're just telling the globe earther, yo, shut the hell up. We're trying to hear the information.
Nice.
But that's the thing. We've carved out a community, and in spite of the fact that we're not promoted internally, that's why I constantly bark on about sharing the shows. Internally, the group of people that are aware of this subject is growing, regardless of whether or not there's claimed censorship or not, or lack of promotion, as I like to actually see it, because I don't see it necessarily what's happening as censorship, even though it is. I try and look on the bright side in that regard, because I'm a YouTuber, right? So I've got to look on the bright side when it comes to how much promotion I receive. In most instances, none. But I do, because we've got a growing community, and people do hit the share button. They will take the time out to stick it on Twitter or whatever. And that means that there's a need, a necessity within that growing community for a certain amount of competition amongst the quality of the product that's being provided. Certainly, I've tried to up my game in terms of the show quality, the audio performance, and so on, because I want the quality of the product to shine above the rest of the other people out there who technically are my competitors. If I want to phrase it in this way, someone like Jaren, who's far more successful on YouTube than myself, I am competing with him for the select few people who listen to this material, and they can pick me or they can pick him. That makes him my competition in very literal terms. But that's good, because it means I've got to up my game. I've got to be as good as he is, or better, in order to try and attain the audience that might have watched him. Now, that's not to say that I want to crabs in a bucket style pull anybody who's in the community around me down. That's definitely not the attitude people should take. If you don't know what crabs in a bucket mentality is, just look it up. But anyway, that's not what I'm suggesting. I'm saying that should up everybody's game. Everyone should be looking to polish up their performance, do better. I try and encourage it from people who are around me. I mean, it doesn't matter how much I beg Arwin to do a thumbnail for his own show. It's an uphill struggle sometimes to get people to up their own game. But, people's motivations differ, don't they, Arwin?
Sometimes I get a good idea about a thumbnail, and then I ask Adam, do you think this is a good thumbnail too? Yes? Okay, can you do it for me? And the other times I just don't know, I don't have an idea, and I just go back to the default, Because I'm not just gonna randomly slap shit together. I want it to have some kind of a meaning, like an esoteric meaning.
What you got to do? Initially, just slap shit together, as you put it, and bosh it out there, and let it be open to criticism. When people say, no, the text is the wrong colour, or too small, or the picture's not relevant, well, just accept you've got a daily show, so there's plenty of opportunity to make a crappy thumbnail, and you're going to develop that skill by doing it. But just saying, I had a good idea for a thumbnail, I'll call Adam. Anyway, we shouldn't be doing this on a live show. I'm really
He's
sorry.
so good at it.
I know he's good at it, but you've just literally given my audience a lecture about upping skill levels and stuff, like 5-10 minutes ago.
Yes.
But he's saying up in the standards. He doesn't. I think he's taking the Oakley approach to things. If everybody does a little, he doesn't have to do it.
Yes.
out
The
means
Oakley
anything.
way. That's
Just-
right. The Oakley
Yeah,
way.
Nathan's
Remember that.
lazy.
I am
No,
lazy.
it's just
It-
one of my favourite
laziness,
lines that Nathan uses. I like that. I love that
laziness
line.
and efficiency are not mutually exclusive. Yeah.
Huh.
If you anybody ever seen the film Hollow Man?
Years ago.
Excellent
seen
movie
Hollow
with
Man?
Kevin Bacon, yes.
Kevin Bacon, right? The Invisible Man. There's a part in the film, right, where they're trying to get invisibility to work, and the one professor or whatever you want to call him, Kevin Bacon character, just manages to do stuff. He just gets stuff done. He just instinctively knows what to do to make it work. And the other professors explaining this to the female lead by saying, in order to get to D, I have got to have B and C. Yeah? I can't just go from A to D. I need the B and C. And this Kevin Bacon character, he does it without the B and the C. He just goes from A to D. I need the B and the C. I've got to have the B and the C. Right?
That's why you got messed up at the end.
2 days in a row, we're talking about bacon still.
Kevin Bacon. Last time it was
bacon.
Last time it was bacon and real bacon, not Kevin Bacon. Equally delicious,
Yeah.
obviously.
The female lead was Elizabeth Shue.
Oh yeah.
She's a phenomenon.
Oh, you beat me 10th.
I set that one up perfectly.
Anyway, the point is
Can
that
she be carried and manipulated? Or?
well, the point is that there's certain things that people do that can appear lazy. If you're a lazy person, you're looking for the most efficient way to get something done. Now, that can, to the outsider, seem like you're cutting corners. It's like, well, if I see a more efficient route, i.e. cutting the corner, isn't that the most sensible route? Because it cuts the corner off. You don't have to walk around the corner anymore. But that can appear to most people to be lazy. It's like, what can I do to put the minimum amount of effort in? Because then, typically, you get more done. Because you're not spending as much time walking around the corner. You can do other things with the time, which is valuable. So you might call me lazy, and yeah, I am. Doesn't change the fact that I work all damn day.
Me too.
I was only saying what you say about yourself, buddy.
Yeah. No, but seriously, I like it the way it's going. I'm very happy with sometimes having really good thumbnails and other times just not, because I use it as a contrast, right? It's just all expectancy. If you constantly nonstop up the game and keep it up there, people are just going to get spoiled by it and then be disappointed when you don't have it.
Sounds like a justification for not being asked.
Hey, I'm very efficient.
I can't be arsed.
Yeah.
Any more housekeeping questions?
Any single
I'm gonna
viable
be-
hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
Hell no.
Hell no. Any
Come on,
evidence
they
you can
scored
have
out.
gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
Requires at least 3 containers.
3 broken legs.
Thought that maybe someone could give me the definition for gas pressure after I tell you that the pressure of the sun is equal to 340 billion times the Earth's atmos pressure.
How'd you know that?
I Googled it.
Must be true then.
Must be true. If he Googled it and it came up on a search result, was it the top result? Because if so, it's definitely true.
It's the most true. They put the most true stuff at the top.
That's true. That was at the top of a Google search, wasn't it, Adam?
Yeah.
The most is truest.
I think we covered all the housekeeping questions, 10th.
Good.
I know you're keen.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were just getting into subjects that belong in the pre-show.
Adam, did you want to go back to your video about the guy on the bridge?
No, I didn't. Did you see it crashed my whole computer? I got kicked out. I couldn't.
I did wonder why you dropped.
Yeah, for some reason.
Well, we saw it. I saw it.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw what you wanted us to see. You knocked out your computer in the meantime. At the same time, we saw.
I've posted the link in Master B if anyone wants to.
So you're saying
You want us,
a link to a buggy video that crashes your computer? I could be playing that.
You
Tempting.
You could give it a go right now and see if it's just my crap machine or whether it is riddled with something.
Tempting, but no.
That's like, this tastes disgusting. Here, have some.
Exactly. Man, this thing completely destroyed my computer. Check it out. I'll send it you via email.
Yay! It could be the file format. Some file formats for info kind of like are extra burdeny on the memory, and then it'll just make your computer crash every time.
Arwin knows what makes a good live show.
Okay. I'm sorry, I've just noticed that. Like sometimes you download certain files, video files, and then they give it in like an awkward format that's not really standardized. And then you might be able to play it, but it can then give a lot of issues and even make your computer crash because it just doesn't really sit well with how the memory works.
I've been racking my brains. How can I end this? Quick, do something. Straw poll. If you're in the chat, type 1 if you've downloaded either the Flat Earth Sun Moon Zodiac Clock app with its Flat Earth Friend Finder. No, that's wrong, isn't it? No, it is right. Friend Finder. And or if you've downloaded the Flat Earth People Finder, type 1 in the chat. Obviously, you don't need to type anything if you haven't downloaded either or of those two apps, but I'd be interested to see if people watching the show have actually downloaded it. While we're doing that, because it's the only thing that popped into my brain to stop Arwin talking about what he was talking about. Who here has downloaded it? I have. Or them, I should say.
To avoid the issue with the video files, I download VLC. That has given me the least problems with foreign format files.
I've just put it in the
Flat Earth People Finder. Is that what you said?
I've done that. I've just put that in the chat. So if anybody wants to have a go at wrecking the computer or seeing that file, it's in there.
Yes, thank you, Adam. I'm sure my chat participants are going to be really grateful. So there's quite a few number ones spinning on by. Who in the panel here is downloaded? Not Arwin, obviously.
I've just done it, Nathan. The free one. So I'm on there now, and I found Riley. I was having a look for you. Yeah, quite cool.
Is the free? Well, I guess I won't ask if the free one is worth it because it's free. I can just download it. But I did download David Weiss's app, and also
So you can find everybody else that has the app downloaded as well, that type of thing.
Yeah, it's so awesome. It's like Flat Earth just went social. We no longer have to step into anti-Flat Earth bars, just places where you think you're gonna have normal conversation. Turns out everyone's against, you saying the moon landing was fake.
They ain't gonna
Turns
be
out
happy
you can
about
find-
that.
They're not. We don't need you. We got friends. They're down the block.
We did make the suggestion yesterday about making the anti-Flat Earth Friend Finder, and you can connect with your Simon Dans and your Craigs and stuff and share your pain together.
Yeah. That's
Anti-Flat Earth Friend Finder. That's hilarious. Oh.
they do need to find each other though.
Yeah, you can share your views on what you think the nature of reality is not.
Need to find themselves first.
Very well put, Adam. Yes, indeed. Yeah, you'd need to find yourselves first. Yeah, you'd need to have a soul. Nah, that doesn't apply. You can join the anti-Flat Earth Friend Finder app. Just press the flesh with other flat earthers. There's sub-communities within it. I envisage having the subcategory of people who hate Jeranism, people who hate Nathan Oakley, people who hate David Weiss. That sort of thing. And you can all congregate together and talk about how, we're not supposed to see drift. Earth's not supposed to turn underneath. You can all have those sorts of conversation. It'd be great.
How flat earthers define our lives, evening.
Yeah, exactly. Anti-flat Earth is very hot right now.
No, it's not.
It is. It's heavily promoted on YouTube. You type in flat Earth, bang, you're straight in there with anti-flat Earth. It's amazing. Just type in flat Earth and you'll find anti-flat Earth. They don't put hashtag anti at the beginning or anti-hyphen or anything like that. It's just, that's your flat Earth search engine now, is flat Earth is actually anti-flat Earth. If you type in flat Earth into a Google or YouTube search engine, what you get back is anti-flat Earth. It's really hot. That's what you get. Back in the days, we used to get that promotion. You type in flat Earth and you'd find me. It was amazing. Oh, them were the days.
In them days, you could search YouTube, couldn't you, and find stuff out. New stuff was coming out. You type that in and it'd all pop up. Just type in. I used to remember just going in and type flat Earth and then go to options and select live. And there'd be a string of multitude of different flat Earth channels, some with 1 viewer, 10 viewers, you know what I mean? But they'd all be there for you to. Now they're not even at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, I remember that. I haven't searched. I used to do that search daily. So exactly that. You'd type in flat Earth, you'd click live as the subcategory, and then you'd find whatever was on and just go and watch it and sit in the chat. Now, like I say, I don't even know what you'd get. I've given up that search type ages ago because it's just fruitless.
That's how I found this show.
I guess it's also a good thing to note that not only can you find people on the flat Earth Sun and Moon app, I think that's what it's called. You can also find those videos that are so hard to find because they I don't know what their algorithm is or how they do it, but there's a whole bunch of videos that are hard to find on YouTube now. So that too.
Yeah, there's a lot more to the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon and Zodiac Clock app. I mean, they've got a whole little section with memes, there's attached videos. I'm in there, so if you go to the video section, which is a little spider web icon, at the bottom left, there's Flat Earth debates. And all they are is anything that's less than about 5 minutes-ish in length. I've done a specific list that goes directly to the app, so that Flat Earth debate is on that app. So if you just want the short clips, there they are. And yeah, I don't know if it develops massive amounts of views for me or anything, but it's part of the app that's definitely kept up to date. I know because I'm the one keeping that particular part of it up to date, just because I've got a playlist that's presumably embedded in that particular part of the app. But it's cool, you know. I went to it and looked at it. I'm like, wow, this functions really well. So yeah, there's a lot more to it than just the bit that's got publicity, because there's two competing applications that do essentially the same thing. You know, there's the Flat Earth People Finder and the Flat Earth Friend Finder, and you know, I hope everyone downloads both. I think it's very cool.
Okay, my turn. You know, I have to do this email so I can get paid. So the boss sent me something. Let me read it. David Weiss is great. Subscribe today. Thank you.
With that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you first and foremost to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. If you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, however, stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Another massive thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!